Welcome back to part, whatever you want to call it, to working on this old raggedy Ford right here. This week, I would like to build a motor that includes boring, honing, and assembly. Oh yeah. I also know, by the way, I have come up with a name for the old truck. I'll tell you all about it here in just a minute. Y'all look at here on my pile of parts table, pile part, how would I call this? Pile of parts table, that's what it is, yep. I know how to figure it out in a minute. But y'all look right here, got a crankshaft, here's our rods, our pistons are right over here. We got to measure them here in a minute. But yes, sir, I had to do a little persuasive talking to the feller, but I finally got him to balance my stuff. Yeah, went and picked it up yesterday afternoon. That's awesome. Here is the balance card. Trying to make sure my address ain't on here or my phone number. They said the bob weight was a little heavier than what they normally do. They said they normally see like 1925 to 1950. This is 2045. But he said he balanced out great. It's balanced to, he said 10,000 RPM. I'll have to take his word on that. But anyway, he said it balanced out pretty good. What we're going to do right now, oh, wait a minute, I forgot. Yeah, I told you I was going to tell you what name I am thinking about calling it. What do y'all think about Silver Bullet and the bull part of Bullet? You know, it's because we got this, is that a Brahma bull with a big old hump on the back? I think it is. We'll spell it well, let me just go over the board and I'll show you how we're going to spell it. We're going to spell it just like this right here. And the reason I capitalized the B-U-L-L, well, because we got a bull on the door. Oh, yeah. I ain't 100% sure on that name right now, but it's a good possibility that that's what I'll call it. Y'all let me know what you think about it in the comments. Anyways, let's get over here. And, well, where did I put my, oh, here it is. My mic, my 4-inch mic. We got to measure the piston, see what diameter it is. And then if you don't know, I'll tell you all about this boring machine here in just a minute. Let me pull one of these out and we'll measure it. All right, here's what we got. We got some Keith Black KB Performance Hyper-Eutectic aluminum pistons. He said these were kind of heavy. I find that to be odd because Hyper-Eutectic is nowhere near as heavy as forged. Anyway, what we got to do is measure our diameter down here at the skirt. Well, you can see you got a bare spot there and there. That's where you're supposed to measure because this is a coating. You don't want to measure it. Anyway, we measure this. Should be 4 inches and 40 thousandths. And then I'll have to look again, but I believe it said about 1 to 2 thousandths clearance on these. I'll have to find that, but right now, most important thing is what do our pistons measure? Let me see if I can get this little feller here on up in here. Approximately right there and right there. Lock her down. And we got, well, it's 3. She's lining up with about 6/10. So I got to work backwards because this only goes 4 inches, not 4 inches and 40. So I have to turn the dial and count backwards. So we were lined up with 6/10 and then 3, 25, 30, 35. Well, that's only showing 38.5. So that would give us 1.5 thousandths clearance if I take the bore out to 40 thousandths. Yes, sir. I will measure this again. I'm going to measure 3 or 4 of them just to make sure. But, yeah, that sounds about right. Now, it tells you, sorry, here's right here. Let me read this real quick. Like, piston to wall clearance, street Naturally aspirated 4 to a 4.1 inch bore is 1.5 to 2 thousandths clearance. Yep. So I'm probably gonna go 2 because man, 1.5 I just don't like the thoughts of that. No, sir. So we'll go if we do 2 thousandths clearance, and those are what I say 4 inch and 38.5 thousandths. We'll go 4 inches and 40.5 thousandths on our bore. Let me measure some more, make sure they're all pretty much the same, and then I'll get over here and show you the boring bar. All right, I have measured all the pistons, and here's what I come up with. That would be 4 inches and 38 thousandths and 1/10. Same thing there. They're all pretty consistent within 1 to 2 tenths. Oh yeah. The first one I measured, it was 38.5. Well, I measured it again. I set them on the table this time. I measured them a little more stable, and it came out to 38 thousandths. Oh yeah. So I think we're good there. We take it out to 40 thousandths over. That'll give us 1.8 to 1.9. Well, we'll have one that's 2 thousandths. That's plenty of clearance. Oh yeah. Now, if you have not seen me use this old boring bar before, well, it's ancient. I don't know how old it is. Probably from the 60s or 70s. I have bored out Dude's motor. I bored out the motor in the old Forte, and they seem to run pretty doggone good. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this. If I could afford a balancing machine, I don't think I'd ever need a machine shop again. No, sir. But a balancing machine is pretty expensive. Yeah. If I ever run across one that's cheap, I'm going to get it. But I don't think I'm going to find one that's cheap. No, sir. Anyways, this is how you operate this fella here. Let me get some light over here so we can see a little bit better. I don't know if y'all can see that any better or not. But the thing is attached. You go through this cylinder here. It's got a little foot down here. I don't know if you can see it or not. That little foot right there sticking out. You tighten it up, you turn this thing right here and it tightens up, and that won't move around. Well, you've got to center this cutting head in the bore some kind of way. Well, y'all watch this little foot right here. I'm going to turn this knob right here. Y'all watch that little foot come out. Oh, yeah, see him coming on out. Well, what you do is this handle here, you run this cutting head on down in there if it'll go. I like to go on down towards the bottom because that's going to be your squarest place. And then you'll turn this knob right here and watch, like right in this area, you'll see it move as it centers up. Maybe. I don't know. It might not. Yeah, see it moving there? Oh, yeah. You tighten that up. She's centered. You come over here, run this little feller down, take this little tool here. Ooh, well, I'll pick it up in a minute, but you tighten that up and you're good to go. Then you have to back these off, turn that the other way. You run her on up, and then your cutting head slides right in there. Oh yeah, well let me just show you the cutting head. Where did it go? I don't know. Here's the cutting head right here. It slides in that little slot I showed you. This one has been modified to accept lathe tool bit. That's just a carbide bit that goes in the lathe. This little feller here, you turn it in and out, to adjust how much you're cutting each time. And you got this little mic here that this slides in, just like, well, let me see. I forgot now. I think it goes like, nope, goes like, I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Anyway, slides in there. Got a little mic here, and it tells you, how much you've moved it each time you turn this little knob. And then you stick it back in there and you go to cutting. Yes, sir. I'm just going to do a very light cut the first pass. And just, get our bearings, see where we're at. And then I think I usually take 10 to 15 thousandths per cut. It takes 3 or 4 passes. You got to creep up on that last one. We're going to 4 inches and 38 thousandths. I'm leaving 2 thousandths to hone. That's just how you do it. Anyways, let me get her set up. We'll go to cutting. All right, I think I got her set up, got it centered, got her tightened down. My cutter here, you have to creep it out till you barely start cutting. Then you start moving it, 10 thousandths or whatever you want. If I can remember where the switch is to turn it on, I will turn it on and we'll let this little fella run on down. Well, It's here. I just got to remember where. Seemed like I had this trouble last time. Oh, here it is. I found it. Yep. All right. It's also got this little thing here that automatically turns it off. But if y'all remember last time we used this, that didn't work one time and liked to mess the machine up. Anyways, I'm going to flip her on. Just like it right there. And then the automatic feed is right up here. So let's turn that little feller on. Just that cat right there. You watch her start going down. If we don't start cutting, I'll stop. I'll bring it up. And I'll run my cutter out just a wee bit more till we start cutting. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be cutting nothing here. I'm running it down manually. Still ain't cutting, so yeah. Let's cut her off. I'll pull the cutter out and I will adjust it a little bit. Got this little hook you use to pull that cutter out. To adjust the cutter, you unloosen that set screw and you'll turn this out. We'll go a half a turn. Let's see what that does. All I wanted to do is just barely start cutting, and then we can stick it in the mic over there and go to, moving it out 10, 12 thousandths, whatever. All right, let me run it down. Let me get my light, see what we got going on. Yeah, I think that's going to cut. It might be a little bit much. Let me run that back in just I don't know, quarter of a turn and see what we get. Just an FYI, I have moved my mic. I had it right here on my shirt. Well, it's on my hat now because it was getting on my nerves on my shirt. So y'all just have to bear with me on the audio until I get it figured out exactly like I want it. Anyway, let me run this out just a little bit. Or run it in, I mean. All right, let's get this little feller put in here. Let me run this little feller down. Let's try it right there to see what it does. Turn it on. Engage automatic feed. Listen to see if it cuts. Yes, sir, it's cutting just a wee bit. It's cutting at just the very top because, about that far down is where your wear starts. We're a little heavy on this side over here too. I don't like that, but ain't a whole lot I can do about it. Well, we're cutting a wee bit over here too. I think we'll be okay. If y'all recall, on the Forte, we had one cylinder. This wasn't centered real good, and it left just a wee bit at the top that wasn't cut, but it ain't gonna hurt nothing. Those who are wondering why I'm not spraying any lube on that, this is cast iron. It don't need any. I love working with cast iron. It's pretty easy to work with. We're cutting all the way around now, so that's good. All right, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna turn it off. Then it's got that automatic shut off I told you about. Let me get that set, and then we'll pull the cutter, we'll raise it up, pull the cutter out, and I'll move it out about 5 to 10 thousandths. I got the automatic shut off set. Now let me pull this cutter out. I think I'm just gonna go 5 thousandths right now until I start cutting everywhere, and then I need to get a measurement and see where we're at. All right, I got it set to take another 6 or 7 thousandths. I'm trying to get my mic on an even number. Anyways, let us run this down about right there. Go back a wee bit. Turn it on. Put it in automatic feed and let's see what happens. We still ain't cutting nothing over here at the top. All right, is you gonna cut it off? Oh yeah, awesome. Let me run it back up and I can get a measurement in the bottom now. So I'll do that and we'll see where we're at. And I'll pull the cutter out and adjust it. And we'll keep on the trucking. So let's just see approximately where we're at right now. We are at, that is 22. We got 22 thousandths to go before we're done boring this cylinder. Let me take a 10,000ths cut and we'll see if it's actually cutting true or not. Oh, my knees. Well, my mics quit on me. It's my fault. I brought them out here, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours before I ever started working. Brought them out here and then, you know me, I got sidetracked with something else. Well, they were sitting there not on the charger, but they were on, and well, they've run down. So I'm back to the old trusty shotgun mic for now. Y'all just have to work with me till I get my audio figured out. Anyway, we're at, I think it was 35.5 thousandths, so that means we ain't got but 2.5 thousandths to go. And y'all look right in here, see that where it ain't cutting? Yes, sir. That's what I'm afraid of every time I use this thing is either I don't get it centered or it is wore lopsided that bad. I think it's most likely I just don't have it centered. Anyway, let me take the final cut. Hopefully it'll clear that up. If it don't, well, it'll just be what it is. All right, I run it out like 3 1/4 thousandths. That'll be really, really close. So let's fire it up. See what we get. Hopefully this is the last pass. Oh, we're gonna cut all the way around this time. Fingers crossed. No, sir. It went right on past it, never touched it. So it is what it is. Ain't nothing I can do about it now. I'll just have to try to center it a little bit better than what I did last time. All right, that's it. Don't know if this will be the final cut. I sure hope so. Let me get my dial bore gauge out. We'll check it and see what we got. All right, what do we have? Let me get my light so I can see what I'm doing here. I'm about half blind. We are at just a hair over 37. Let me take it out about a thousandth more. All right, I moved her about a thousandth. Let's run her down here and fire it up. Let's see what we get. It cleaned that up a little, but it's still some wear there. Oh well, it is what it is. I'll be back when it gets done. What do we got? What do we got? We got 37. No, sir, 38.5. No, sir, I'm blind. I can't see. 38.5. Yeah, we'll stop right there. That leaves us 1.5 thousandths to home. It'll be all right. Yep. Well, I got one cylinder done. Let me show y'all. There's just a wee bit where it didn't cut. I ain't sure it'll pick up on camera right over yonder. It'll be okay. I got my routine down pretty good now, so I'm gonna truck on through them. When I get to number 8, well, I'll be back. Well, it's approximately 2 o'clock in the morning time, and I'm tired, but we now have this old block board out. Yes, sir. We are working on getting 394 cubic inches. Actually, it's like 394.8, so we might start calling this thing a 395 because it's really close to it. Anyways, everything went good except for cylinder 4 here. If y'all recall, I told you, it looked real bad. I told y'all it was probably the problem child when we're trying to get it unstuck. You probably can't see it, but about 1.5 inches up from the bottom, there's a ring all the way around where it didn't quite bore all that bad spot out. But I think it'll be okay. I don't think the rings go down that far, so we'll probably be all right. Other than that, everything went smoothly. Yes, sir, it sure did. I reckon tomorrow we got to hone out. Well, let me show you what we got here. This is what the final boring went to. We got 2,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,500, and then 2.5 here and 2.5 here. that we have to hone out. That ain't nothing major. I don't remember what I left the 40. That's the last one we bored. I don't remember how much I left for it. It's probably 2 to 3 thousandths. We'll have to drag our tub out, get it over here, get it set up. Yeah, we should be able to get this home tomorrow and hopefully get it all cleaned up and then get it ready to be put together. I'm going to call it a day because I'm tired. Well, I can't call it a day because I got to go in the house and start video editing. But I'm going to call it a day out here. So I reckon I'll see y'all tomorrow. Today's the next day, and I already got my honing tank pulled out. Got the block sitting over in there. Just went and got me 5 more gallons of diesel fuels. Most of that had evaporatized. Got to make a top for this thing when we get done here. That's what that piece of plywood's for. I bought that, I don't know, 6 months ago. Yeah, and I just never made me a top. Anyways, we're gonna try to get all 8 cylinders honed. I would like to get the pistons on the rods, get the rotating assembly in here because we've got to clearance the block, because it's a longer stroke, and the crank is probably gonna hit the block in some places. Might even have to do a little work on the pistons. Depends on how long the skirts are. That's the goal tonight, but I don't know if I'll get to it or not. I've been a little lazy the last couple of days. Yes, sir. My knees and I'm just lazy sometimes. Anyways, I got me a new heater right here. Bought one of them little diesel heaters. I've been seeing them on Amazon and here and there and everywhere. It's been running about an hour, and well, it ain't done much according to the gauge up here on the wall. It might have heated it up a couple degrees. Yep, that's about it. It's, I think, 48 outside. That's not cold. So I might have to get another one or just abandon that idea altogether. Been running the heat pump over there, but that's going to get costly, just like running the air in the summer. Trying to avoid that. Hopefully that little heater, it'll do the job. We'll see. I just posted a video about that to Facebook. Y'all go check my Facebook page out. It'll be in the description right here below the video. Also, by the way, I had a couple of comments on last week's video saying that I need to get some merch for the channel and it would help it out. Well, fellers, I've had merch for about 2 years or so, somewhere in there. The link to that will be right under this video in the description. If there's anything you need to know, check in the description first. Yes, sir. There'll be a link to that. There'll be a link to the Facebook page. If I forget, sometimes I do forget, well, then go look at an old video. It'll be in there. Yep. Also, I have, I have commissioned some of y'all to help me with new merch ideas. I know what I want it to look like, but I'm not an artiste. I don't know how to make it happen. So hopefully that will happen pretty soon, and we'll have some new merch for y'all to buy. Anyways, let's get right here, and let's hone that block out. All right, let's get over here and see if we can't get this thing honed out. Here's my little, D-skull, whatever, for lube and, keep my stones clean. It does pretty good, but I got to get it aimed just right or it wants to splash everywhere. Let's try it right there and see what it does. This one is cylinder number 1. We got to go 1/1000th and a half. Let's see if we can get her done. I don't think I got her tight enough. I'll have to tighten it up a little bit, but let me get my dial, my dial bore gauge, and we'll check it, see what we got. What do we have right here? We got, we're at 38 and, well, we ain't come none. No, sir. Let me tighten them stones up and we'll hit her again. Oh yeah, them are pretty loose. Let's tighten her up a little bit. You go this way, like that. I just go up and down till it feels pretty tight. That right there feels tight, so I'm gonna turn my lubrication back on and hit her again. All right, what do we have now? We have approximately 39, well, a little over 39. We got a little less than 1/1000th to go. That feels pretty loose. Let me tighten her up just a wee bit. About like that right there. All right, let's check it again. I need to build me a little holder for that drill right there. We have approximately, well, we ain't went in hardly none. No, sir. All right, let me hit it some more. Tighten her up a wee bit more. I'm gonna move this too. Let's try it right there, see what it does. Well, that took about 1/2,000th off. Let's check middle. Yep, what about the very bottom? I need to dwell at the bottom a little more because we ain't took much off of it. At the top we have, well, we're pretty much there. Yep, on that. The middle, we like 1/4,000th. Down there at the bottom, about the same. Let me hit the middle and bottom. All right, maybe that will get this one done up. That is dead on 40 over. Center is, it's about 1/4 under. The bottom, it's still about 1/4 under. Let me hit it a little bit more. Try to dwell at the bottom and the middle, get them the same as the top. Top's still good, the middle, oh yeah, pretty much dead on about the bottom. Yes, sir. I do believe we are there. Let me look at the crosshatch. I got to get a flashlight. Crosshatch. That ain't bad. No, sir, it ain't bad at all. I think we will leave that one. Let's hit this next one. All right, I got to scoop this little feller over. Approximately right there. We may have to back off on the tightness of this. We'll see. No? Well, yeah, it's a wee bit tight. Let me back her off a little bit. All right, let's try that right there. Let me wipe my hands off first. That's a little loose. Let's tighten her up. Oh yeah, we cutting now. What do we have on this one here? 1/1000th. Oh yeah. I actually got almost 2 to go at the bottom, so I'll dwell at the bottom a little bit. What we got? What we got? That dropped us to a 1/1000th, 1/1000th, and then the bottom. Yeah, and I still need to hang out on the bottom a little bit more. Top is dead on. Middle, oh, it needs 1/4,000th more, and the bottom, it's still a half or a little more behind. I don't understand that. That's getting annoying. Yes, sir. I've done went a little too far with the top and the middle. They're about a half a thousandth over. But the bottom was lagging behind. It was a half a thousandth behind. Well, now it's dead on. But like I said, these other two are a little big. I'd rather have them big than too small any day of the week. So I think it'll be all right. 2 down, 6 to go. I'll be back when I get done. Well, I did it. I knew I was going to do it, and I did it. Yep. I was honing this last cylinder on this side and pulled my hone out of the cylinder. It was still turning a little too fast, and my, what do you call them, stones? Well, then I went to flying. I broke one right here. Yep. The Artis, that's the only set I've got, so we're done honing for tonight. Yep. I just ordered some off Amazon. They'll be here Monday, so we'll continue this on Monday. So I think what we're going to do right now, let's go over here to the weld table. Let me show you. I think right now we're going to put the pistons on the rods. And let me show you real quick. Like, say this is the front of the motor. The left-hand bank of piston cylinders on a small block Ford is shifted forward. It's more forward than your driver's side. It's just the opposite on the Chevrolet. They're back. Anyways, on the small block Ford, this bank of cylinders on the passenger side is shifted forwards. And, well, these pistons are not, they don't have any kind of notch or arrow to tell you which way they go. You know, that notch or arrow, if it's got it, it always goes to the front. Well, I can tell because the way the valve reliefs are, that the valve relief is here. This is just a dish. Your valve relief is here, so it's going to go to the inside because that's the way the valves come down. Okay, piston goes like that. Now you got to know which way your rod goes. Well, there's a couple different ways you can figure this out. For one, see this little knob right here? Well, some of those are drilled out. These are not. Some of these are drilled out though, and it shoots oil up on the cam as it's rotating like this. Well, if you got her flipped around like that, it'll never squirt on the cam. So you know it goes like that because of that. Well, if it don't have that, small block Fords, see these tangs for the bearings right in there? They'll always point to the cam. This is the front of the motor, and it's rotating like that. Well, that tang will always point to the cam. Chevrolet, small block Chevrolet, just opposite. Also, this is where me telling you the left hand bank of cylinders is shifted toward the front. Well, that tells you where the rod is on the crank. These rods are chamfered on one side. It will be to the side of the crank, and that's how you tell where this one goes. It's chamfered, so it's going to go to the front side of that crank journal. This one over here, it'll be sharing the same journal. You got to flip her around. Well, when you do that, see where your knob is pointing to your cam. See where your tangs are? They're pointing to the cam right there. Oh yeah, I know that's might be confusing to some, but that's how you tell which way you got rods going. You got to do that. If you put them on backwards, well, you're gonna be messing up because you got to have this little chamfer. Where's it at? Right here. Because the crank is chamfered. If you put this non-chamfered side up to the edge of the crank journal, well, she's gonna lock up on you. You don't want to do that. Anyways, let me get the camera set up, get the torch out, and we'll go to putting these pistons on these rods. Very quickly before we start putting the pistons on the rods, I just want to show you what I was talking about. This bank of pistons, this is passenger side, this is front of your motor. And see how it shifted forward compared to your driver's side over here? Here's a small block shimmy lay. There's the front of the motor as your timing chain cover. Left hand passenger side bank of cylinders. See how it shifted to the back? Just the opposite. All right, I've got this ready. Your valve reliefs, when it's flipped over, go to the left. Your little oiling knob, when you put it on, goes to the left. And that should make everything all right. Your little knob is to the cam, your tangs are to the cam, and valve reliefs are to the inside. Don't y'all let me forget that. I really don't want to put these on backwards if I don't have to. Easy now. You do not want to get these cherry red. Maybe a dull red, but not really. All right, let's see if that's enough. Oh yeah, look at here, look at here. Hold it, let it cool. Well, there's one. I just want to show y'all real quick. It does not have to be exact because, you know, you got a whole bunch of room for that to slide back and forth. I mean, you want to get it close. What I do is, you know, the pin will be sticking out here. You stick your rod down in there, slide your pin in. I put my fingers on either side of that. Ooh, that's hot. And get it centered up, get the wrist pin centered up in the piston. And then with the other hand, you're centering up the rod. And, well, that's the result right there. Yes, sir. Anyways, I got 7 more to do. I'll show y'all one more, and then I'll get the rest of them done pretty quick. Oil and hole to the left. I got my valve reliefs to the left. Let's heat her up. Ooh, that's a little hot. All right, here we go. Come on, man. Whew. I like the messed up right then. It didn't want to go. Wasn't quite hot enough, but it's good. Let me do 6 more and I'll be back. Last one. Ta-da! Well, we got all 8 of them done, and yes, I have already checked them, made dang sure that I didn't put none of them on backwards. Goes just like that. If this was the left-hand driver's passenger side bank, it goes just like that. Your valve reliefs to the inside, your oiler to the cam, your tangs to the cam. Yes, sir. That's awesome. I think I'm gonna call it a night. Sure didn't get nothing done what I wanted to, but do I ever? Nope. Monday, hopefully them home stones will come in pretty early. We can go ahead and get this done, get the crank in, get the block clearanced. And then, well, I guess we can get the pistons in because we may have to clearance the bottom of the skirts. Let me show you real quick. Right here in this area, the crank counterweight, it may hit that. So we got to check that out. Make sure we got clearance there because we don't want to be crashing stuff. No, sir. It would not be good. I have not even ordered a cam. I've been deliberating and agonizing over which cam to get. I always do, every motor I build. Well, I have finally decided on what I'm going to get. You know, this is a 394 cubic inch. I'm used to doing 350, 327, 283. They will take a smaller cam, you know, if it's going to be a street motor. Well, the bigger cubic inch, you can go a little bigger cam and it still be, you know, pretty tame. So I think I have finally decided on which cam I'm going to get. So I'm going to order it tonight. If I order it from Summit, we probably won't get it till about Tuesday. So it's a good chance that we're not going to get the motor completely put together this week, but trust me, there is plenty more to do on this old jalopy here. We'll get it done. Anyways, I think I'm going to call it a day or a night. Yep, it is nighttime. Tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday's day rest is what I plan on doing. Hope y'all do the same. See y'all Monday. Well, I got my stones a little while ago, and, well, let me tell you, it's sort of been a disaster ever since then. Yep. Here's one of them right here. They're big in the middle and it's egg shaped in my cylinders by about a 1/2,000th right now. And well, I got tired of trying to fool with them. So I got the old ball hone out. This one here, well, this one here is the 4-inch. That's what I use to do my finishing. This one here is a 4 1/4 inch that I have used on the Farmall F30. The reason I got it out because it's bigger, you know, it's 4-inch bore and that's 4 1/4. Well, it'll put more pressure on the cylinder and it'll cut quicker, hopefully. I've actually done all of them with that, and I am not happy with the results. No, sir, they're not very true. They're up to a 1/2, 3/4 of a thousandths off, taper, egg shape, whatever you can think of. That's what they are. And I'm not leaving it like that. No, sir. So what I did is, well, let me show. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. Well, hang on. Let me tell you this firstly. This hone in the paperwork and instructions, it tells you if your stones ain't true, well, use this here. It's 40 grit sandpaper. It was glued to this stick. And they say use that to dress them till you get them straight and true. Well, when you're running 180 grit across 40 grit, Let me tell you, it eats it up very quickly, and I wasn't paying attention, and I have ate half of that stone away trying to get it true. And I don't, you probably can't see that, but over here on the left side, she's a lot thinner than on the right hand side. This stone is pretty much garbage, and I just got it. Well, I just sat down, I calmed down, and got to thinking, let's do this again. Try to dress these stones. I did. I took my time. I got my calipers out, and I measured the stone and saw where it was high, and I'd hit it just 3 or 4 licks with the 40 grit. I finally got them true, I think. I ain't used them yet. We're fixing to. Fingers crossed that this is going to straighten up the mess that I've got over here trying to use that dingle ball home. Yes, sir. I hope I can straighten it out anyways. All right, this cylinder here, we need to go at least a half up top to get it even close to the spec that I want. Let's just see if this fella right here is going to do it now that I got these stones straightened out, or am I going to have to do something different? I'm going to try to stay up top much as I can. I'll dip down every once in a while, but yeah, we got to take at least a half off the top here. That's a little loose. Let me tighten her up a little bit. That's better. Let's see if I've done anything. Well, according to that, I took off a whole bunch. I really did. But it seems to be matching. Yeah, we're a little over what I want, but I'd rather be over and straight than be egg-shaped and tapered and everything else. All right, what do we got to do on this one over here? We're a half a thousandth under at the top. We're a quarter over in the middle. Dead on at the bottom. So I need to dwell at the top again. All right, what have we got now? That's about a half over. That's about a half over. That's dead on. We're just a wee bit tapered. Let me hit the bottom just a little bit. Let's see what we are at the bottom. I think I better leave that alone because the bottom is at least in spec. We got a half a thousandth taper. I ain't gonna worry about it. This one here, we got to do, that's a half under, a half under. Well, that there's pretty straight. I just need to take it out a half a thousandth more. Well, MLS strikes again. My pump has quit on me. Yep. Well, that's real good. Let me work on that a minute. Boy, I'll tell you what. If it ain't one thing, something else all the time around here. Well, I beat and banged on it enough. It finally started spinning and pumping again. So if it'll last long enough to get this done, I reckon we'll be all right. All right, let's check her. I ain't gonna cut the pump off because it might not start back. Well, pretty much dead on there. Pretty much dead on there. Pretty much dead on there. Let me go check the calibration on this real quick, just to make sure. Dead on. So I reckon we'll move to the, is it the last one there? Yeah. We'll move to the last one right here. Let's see what we got to have on it. That's a half a thousandth under, about 3/4 under, half. All right, about the same thing. Let me hit it a minute. These new stones, they seem to cut a lot quicker than them old ones, but they're the same grit, so I don't really understand why they're cutting quicker, but I'm glad they are. Oh, it's pretty much dead on. Just a tad over. And they're just a tad under. And they're dead on. Let me hit that one more time and I think we'll be done. Did that finally finish us up? Yes, that's actually a quarter over. Dead on. Dead on. I think we'll call it good. Now what we're going to do, hit her with this 4-inch dingleberry and give me my final finish. Those stones on that one are 180 grit. These are 240. That's about what I want. It might need to be a little finer, but I think it'll be all right. You don't want to rotate very fast, but you want to go up and down pretty fast to get that 45-degree hatch, cross hatch. Y'all ain't gonna believe me unless I show you. Look at that crosshatch though. Oh yeah, believe me when I tell you, that is absolutely positive without a doubt. Butamus crosshatch, it sure is. Now let me tell you this real quick. Firstly, this is not precision. This is not perfect. No, sir. I've told y'all 100 times before what we do around here is called backyard butchery. Yes, sir. It's good enough for what it's for. It'll probably last, ain't no telling how many miles. And, you know, the issue we had with the stones over there not being perfect. Fellers, that's just part of it. I finally calmed down, and I had a little sense about me, and I took this 40 grit sandpaper and calmly got them straightened out, and now we got some pretty good cylinders. Oh, yeah. What I'm going to do now, let's pull this out here. I'm going to clean it up good enough. It ain't going to be the final cleaning. Get it good enough where we can put the crank, rods, and pistons in it, and we got to clearance the block for that longer throw crank. Got the block cleaned up pretty decently, and I decided let's go ahead and check our main bearing clearances before we set that crank in here to go to turning it. Because I got to turn it around to see where the crank throws are going to hit. And anyways, my very first one that I'm checking, well, you want 1,000th of clearance per inch of bore. These are 3-inch main bearings. Well, I got 1.5 thousandths. That ain't going to cut it. We need 3 at least, and well, we're done. We're pretty much done. I'm going to check a couple more and see where we're at. But yeah, until I get some kind of different bearings, then yeah, we're done. These are sealed power, by the way. I don't know, the companies have been sold so much here lately. I don't know, Clevite, used to be the best bearing, but last time I used Clevite, they wasn't all that great. Anyways, let me do a couple more, check them, and just see where we're at. I've made dang sure to clean all this good, too, because you can have trash under bearing, and you'll get a not so good reading. Got an arrow that points to the front. Where's my Hummer? I don't need a Hummer. I got a Hummer right here. All right, let me check the clearance. What do we have? Let's check this back side firstly. And it's showing about 2. Front side is showing a little over 2. That's still too tight. Let me check the rest of them. I'll be back. Doing the last one here. All right, let's see what we got. Well, here's what we got. 1.5 thousandths, 2. Well, a little over 2, 2.25. 2, 2, 1.5. That's a little too tight for me. I want the 3 thousandths. So I'll have to buy some more bearings. I think it was the 40, last motor we built. It was like this, a little too tight. So I bought some 1,000ths under bearings, and we had to mix and match the shells or bearing halves, to get what we wanted. That's what I have to do here. I'll order a set of 1,000th under, and we'll use 1/2 of them on these, and it should get us close enough where we want to be. We can still put the crank in. I'll lube it up, and we'll put it in, spin it around, see where we need to clearance the block. Then we'll put the pistons in and see if we need to clearance them. All right, let's get this heavy son of a gun over in this block. I guessed There really ain't no need in putting them caps on. No, sir, it ain't. We're close here. Well, upon closer inspection, I've rotated around, looked at all the counterweights. The only place it comes close is right here. From what I understand, you want approximately, I don't know, 70, 80 thousandths clearance. Well, she gets pretty close right there. He's ground on that counterweight to balance it. So it gets close there, and then it gets further away, and then start getting close again. So I think what we'll do, I got my marker right here. I'm going to mark it right in that area there. And I believe I was going to use a die grinder, but I think we'll try a file first, because die grinder is going to sling crap everywhere. And I don't feel like cleaning them bearings 60,000 times before we get this clearance right. So let me get a file out. We'll work on that a little bit. We can't take a whole lot because, you know, our Earl pump goes right here. Let me get me a rag. Cover these bearings up. Approximately like that. Anyways, I thought I had a better file than this, but that's all I can find. So let me see what I can do right here. Cast iron usually cuts pretty doggone good. All right, let me set it back in there. See what we got with that. Might have to do a little more down in here. We'll see. Crank is back in. I got approximately 85 thousandths worth of feeler gauge. It's going down in there just fine and dandy. Oh yeah, I think we're good. Yes, sir. Let me pull the crank out and clean up this little bit of shavings I got in this cylinder. Then I'll put crank back in, put the main caps on. Then we'll go to putting, well, actually, before we put the pistons rods in, I got to check clearance on rod bearings. Then we'll put them in there and check clearance on the piston skirts and all that. I got my bear ink in the first one here. I got to give it the Torcolorx. This one gets 45 Torcolorx. Oh, it's not in the vise very good. I do not want to slam that piston onto the concrete. So let's revise it. All right. It gets 45 Torcolorx on these nuts here. Now, I got to get my, what's it called? Dial bore gauge. Get it over here and measure this. I got to measure our rod journal on the crank. See what it is, and then we go measure our bearing that's in the rod itself. And that'll tell us our clearance. We got 310 thousandths and about 3/10. Let me check it again just to make sure. $310, and well, it's in between 2 and 3, so that's pretty doggone close. All right, let's measure another one right here, see what we got. We have 310 and in between 3 and 4/10. So that's pretty close to that one. Let's measure it again. I always measure 2 or 3 times, fellers. It don't cost you nothing to measure several times just to make sure you're accurate. 310 and 3, well, it's in between 3 and 4, I'd say. 310 and 2 10,000. So 310, let's just call 310 and 3/10, because that's what these were. Now let's get back over yonder and see what we got on our rods. All right, I got my dial bore gauge set to exactly 2 inches, 310 thousandths and 3/10. Let us see what we got here. We got, that is exactly 2.5 thousandths clearance. What did I say you want? 1 thousandths per inch diameter. We got 2.5 inches, or 2.3 inches, 2.5 thousandths clearance. Good with that. I got to check the rest of them, and then we'll put them in the motor, and we shall check clearance on, make sure these don't hit nothing, make sure a skirt don't hit nothing. Oh yeah. Well, I got the rods in the block. I did not put any rings on it because we got to take this back apart because, one, I got to clearance things. Two, we got to clean the block up and all that. So it's just stuck in there. The rod bolts are not torqued. They are tightened, but not torque spec. Anyways, here's what we got going on. What you have to do is just rotate it around like this. Look at each throw, which we've already done that. Then, y'all watch right here. Let me show you. So, well, see right here, that rod bolt is real close to the block. We might have to do a little clearance in there. Then you come on down. Let's go right, well, let's just use this in here. Let me get my light so you can see a little bit better. See the rod bolt right in the middle of the screen? Well, it's kind of close to the bottom of that cylinder. So I need to check that, see how much clearance we got. And then you come on over here. Might get a little better picture of the rod bolt on the bottom of the cylinder. Right there, right in the middle of your screen. See how close that is? Yep. Then you also have to consider counterweight, right here, to the bottom of the piston. And I don't know how good of a shot that is, but I think that's going to be okay, but I'm not sure. I got to go through and check each rod bolt on both sides and counterweights to piston. And if it needs clearancing, then I'm going to have to do that. But it ain't happening tonight, fellas, because, well, I've been out here about 8 hours today, and my knees are, well, they're just absolutely killing me at this point. So I think we're going to cut her off. We're going to cut the video off right here, too. Next week, I would like to get this block clearanced and blow it apart, clean it real good, get it put together, get it in the truck over there, and hear the thing run. That is the goal. But you got to remember, we still got some stuff to do to the engine bay, clean it up and paint it and all that. I think we'll hear it run next week, though. Yes, sir. So be looking for that. Also, here's an update on the giveaway. I contacted, well, see this shirt right here, 184365572. That small block Chevrolet, small block Mopar's firing order. Well, this is a David Freiberger shirt. Him and Finnegan, they're running a giveaway on their YouTube channel, each one of them. So I bought a shirt from Freiberger and Finnegan to enter the giveaway. And I contacted the company that they're using to manage their giveaway. And let me tell you, it's not cheap for them to manage the giveaway. So not sure what I'm going to do there. I'm not giving up on it. I'm going to contact some more companies and hopefully they'll be a lot cheaper. If I have to, I have considered, just doing it myself. We'll just have to see. So be looking for that in the near future also. Anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.